Hi, welcome back to Fast Recap, and today I'm going to tell you about a 2005 movie called The Brothers Grimm. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It's incredibly important to us and motivates us to create more quality content. 1796. Jacob went to sell a cow to buy medicine for his little sister, but instead brings home only magic beans. There is no more money for medicine and little sister dies. Older brother will blames Jacob for her death. 15 years later, the grown brothers go to a small town. One of the villagers calls them. He claims that an evil witch spirit, which must be banished, inhabits his mill. Having prepared for the operation to expel the witch, the brothers stay there for the night. That night, a ghost appears, and the Grimm brothers immediately pull out all their props to fight the evil force. They fight the evil witch, and through their fearlessness and experience, they emerge victorious. The mill owner rewards them with good money for exorcising the witch's evil spirit. Later, it turns out that all this is the work of the Grimm brothers themselves. They purposely fool people with special effects, makeup, costumes, and fake actors. They organize real shows, thus making people believe in the existence of all sorts of evil. To celebrate their successful deception in one of the pubs, the brothers decide to stay in the town. That very night, they're found and apprehended by French soldiers under the command of Cavaldi. They are brought before a French general. They will be hanged for their fraud. However, the general tells Will and Jacob about the mysterious disappearance of the girls in a small town. According to his assumption, someone is acting on the scheme of the brothers, instilling terror and panic in the local villagers. Then he offers Will and Jacob in exchange for freedom to go to that town. At the same time, a girl in a red hat is attacked by something in the forest. In her attempt to run to the village, she falls and the mysterious creature drags the girl into the forest. Then, in the same forest, the little boy Cain and his sister Gretel are walking through the woods. They try to find the girl with the red hat, but they are separated by an evil force, and little Gretel disappears. Her brother Cain fails to find his sister. Will and Jacob, accompanied by a general and a team, arrive in the village to sort things out. They begin by interviewing the villagers. The angry villagers believe that their village is cursed because of the occupying French and the witch Angelica who lives in their village. Will then decides to go to a mysterious forest near the village. But none of the locals want to accompany him, considering the forest cursed. The brothers come to Angelica, but she is clearly not happy about the guests and does not want to talk to them. Not confused, Cavaldi takes out a knife and with an accurate throw near the girl's face forces her to compromise. In the end, Angelica agrees to accompany the brothers and Cavaldi into the forest. To fulfill their assignment as soon as possible, the Grimm brothers and a small group of soldiers accompanied by Angelica set off into the forest, tethering their horses to the trees. None of them suspects that they are being followed. A mysterious man approaches Jacob's horse and feeds it magic spiders. At the same time, the brothers came to an old tall tower. Angelica told them a legend. A king married a beautiful but vain queen. On the day of their wedding, a plague came and killed everyone except the queen. To protect herself, she built this tower, but the plague caught up with her. The tower seemed very creepy, and the heroes hurried to leave the forest. Before doing so, Angelica asked a toad helper to show them the right way back, because the magic around them could throw them off the right path. Her ritual stunned the brothers, but it was only thanks to Angelica that they were able to successfully return to the village. That same night, another disaster occurs. A curious girl heard a call from the stables and went to check on the horses. When she wanted to pet one of them, the horse abruptly spat out a cobweb at her and swallowed the girl. Hearing the screams, the heroes only saw the horse running away into the forest, and Angelica was the first to rush after it. The brothers joined her, followed by Cavaldi and his soldiers. In the forest, the unclean magical force indiscriminately began to attack the guys. Angelica was confronted by a ferocious forest beast. She couldn't use her bow to defend herself, but the beast didn't want to kill her. The eyes of the beast reminded the girl of the eyes of her missing father. Afterward, Angelica and the Grimm brothers, as well as the surviving Cavaldi, made their way out of the cursed forest. Cavaldi takes all three of them to the general's camp, but he won't listen and doesn't believe in magic and legends. In anger, he orders the killing of all three, believing them to be charlatans. In order to survive, Jacob decides to deceive the general and says that there is really no magic in the village, but there are people there who intimidate all the inhabitants. Then the general gives another chance to sort things out and lets him go back to the village. The heroes and Cavaldi return to the village. Jacob tells Will about an old legend in which the queen wanted immortality and so killed the villagers. He thinks that this is the same queen from the tower in the forest. Will doesn't want to believe Jacob. He just wants to run away here, far away. But the Grimm brothers have to go back to the forest again to finish the task assigned to them. Angelica can't go with them as she has been captured and left in the village by Cavaldi. At this time in the village, a little girl, Sasha, carries water from the well and saves a drowning crow. Suddenly, the crow starts flapping its wings and all the mud from them splashes on the girl's face and body. Sasha screams with all her might, but suddenly her face abruptly disappears. Angelica runs to the girl's aid. Though she manages to grab and give Sasha to Cavaldi's protection in time, the mud monster, which is impossible to kill, eventually takes the girl. Again, we see the brothers in the forest. Jacob manages to use a rope to climb to the roof of the tower. From there, he sees 12 coffins around the tower and tells his brother about it. Jacob then manages to climb inside the tower. There he finds a spell book and learns that to cast a spell of immortality, the queen needs the blood of 12 girls and in blackout. When she drinks their blood, she will become young and beautiful again. At this time, down below the tower near Will, Sasha appears in one of the small ponds. He wants to save the girl as soon as possible, but suddenly he notices the same beast with the eyes of Angelica's father. It turns out to be a werewolf. The beast turns into a human and takes Sasha's body from the water. He puts the girl in one of the coffins and leaves. Will immediately rushes to retrieve the girl. In the tower, the queen awakens. Using the magic of the magic mirror, she bewitches Jacob. Fortunately for him, Will throws a stone and slightly breaks the mirror. Waking up from the spell, Jacob grabs the queen's long braid and jumps down. Then, the brothers with Sasha in their arms return to the village. Unexpectedly, the general and his army arrive in the village to publicly expose the brothers. He orders the cursed forest to be burned, and with it the Grimm brothers themselves. Cavaldi tries to convince the general that everything is under control, but he doesn't listen to him. In the evening of the same day, the French army sets fire to the forest, binds the brothers near the fire, and throws Jacob's storybook into the flames. Fortunately, Angelica appears in time and rescues the brothers. They rush to rescue the missing girls, and suddenly a werewolf suddenly appears. Angelica recognizes in him her father, who disappeared many years ago. As it turns out, he was the victim of the evil queen's spell and became her puppet. Under the influence of a spell, he grabs Angelica and drags her to the tower to complete the ritual of the queen's resurrection. The queen extinguishes the entire blazing forest with a single exhalation. The werewolf puts his daughter in the 12th coffin. The brothers try with all their might to get Angelica out of the coffin, but suddenly a general with soldiers arrives. He threatens to kill the brothers. Cavaldi tries to stand up for the brothers but is shot in the chest. Seeing the blackout begin, which activates a spell, Will abruptly kills the general. Jumping into the tower, Jacob tries to kill the queen with an axe, but she throws the weapon aside. Jacob attacks the queen again with his sword, but she pins him to the wall with magic. At that moment, Will climbs up the tower and grabs another knife. She enchants the weapon and forces the brothers to fight each other. As the lunar blackout ends, the queen regains her former beautiful appearance. Will, seeing this, decides to sacrifice himself and lets Jacob's enchanted weapon pierce him. The queen makes the dying Will her new puppet by taking the magic tip out of the werewolf's heart and stabbing it into Will's heart. Jacob, terrified by what is happening, finally gathers his courage and uses his axe to smash the magic mirror. At the same moment, the queen's face cracks and crumbles like a mirror. Angelica's father jumps off the tower with the last shard of mirror, while trying to stop him also falls down. The old tower collapses completely. Cavaldi turns out to be alive. The bullet didn't kill him thanks to the Grimm brothers' armor. After the tower is completely destroyed, Cavaldi digs Jacob out of the rubble. The blackout is almost over and the girls are still unconscious in their coffins. Unsure of how to save them, Cavaldi recalls the ending of a fairy tale in which true love's kiss awakens a sleeping beauty. Jacob kisses Angelica. She, along with the other girls, regains consciousness. Jacob is about to kiss his brother, who has fallen from the tower, but he is alive. Will whispers to his brother to be kissed by Angelica. The girl kisses Will and he kisses her even harder. In the end, all the girls return to their families alive. The villagers proclaim the Grimm brothers as heroes, and Cavaldi returns the book of Jacob's stories he saved. Everyone is happy and ready to dance. That's all for today. What do you think of this movie? Write your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more such videos.